now, President Cyril Rampahosa has met the midnight deadline and responded to parliamentary panels, the panel that is probing the theft at his farm. Now, from today up until the 17th of this month, the independent panel will consider all information received, conduct any additional research, deliberate on the facts, and then put together its report. Now, it is tasked with determining whether Ramaphosa has a case to answer and whether he should face impeachment proceedings. For more on this, we're joined now by the ANC Veterans League convener, Dr. Snuki Zikalala. Dr. Zikalala, thank you very much for your time. I'm going to go straight to the questions, sir. And we begin with what former President Kgalema Motlanthe had to say in an interview this past weekend, and that is that he is pleading with the president to not only take his party, your party, into his confidence, but the nation as well as to what happened at Phala Phala. Does former President Motlanthe have a point?
Well, I think he does have a point. He may not have the point because the matter is still under investigation. And as you are saying that the SIU team of investigators are on it, SARS is on it, and also now we're saying that there's an independent panel that is probing the whole matter, and its deadline is until the 17th of this month. And so it's important that I'm happy that he has submitted his testimony by last night. He made the deadline. And it's only then that we can be able to say whether he has a case to answer or not. Because if he keeps on giving this snippet there, this snippet there, it won't help us as a nation. It won't even help the ANC as a whole. Because he was taken to task by some members of the National Working Committee and members of the NEC that let him come open about what is happening. And he pleaded that, look, comrades, the matter is under investigation. If I say this, I'll be tying myself into knots. And so it's not an issue. But if he's found wanting, he made it very, very clear to the NWC and NEC, he's found wanting and is requested and is charged, criminally charged, he will immediately step down. As is a policy of the African National Congress, which says that immediately if you are being charged, criminally charged, you have to step down. And so he's committed himself to that. And we as veterans believe in that.
Dr. Zikalala, this is not only a leader of a party. He's a leader of government. He's a leader of South Africa. Should he not be leading by example? All of these processes we're speaking about of late, and I place emphasis on that. The panel was only appointed a few days ago, if you like. Surely the president has got to lead by example. Should he not, by now, have taken the country into his confidence, particularly because there is no criminal investigation, at least that we know of, against him at the moment. Nothing is before the courts, so he can't even use the sub judice rule.
No, Polly, it will be jumping the horse. All that you are saying, he says that he pleaded, look, there is an investigation that is going on in terms of the allegations that he had money, which forex at Phala Phala, that money was not declared. He said, let the investigators do the investigation and complete it, because he said he was not running the entity himself directly, the managers running it. And so now if he's going to entangle himself in all those issues, it's unfair for anybody. And so that is why we as veterans believe in him, we trust what he's saying, and let's wait for the law enforcement agencies to do their work. Let's not jump the gun at all. That's what we believe in. Of course, he cannot currently take the country and the ANC into confidence when he does not know what have they discovered and what they found in his farm. And so that is why I say, let the law enforcement agency do their work. Let's allow them to do their work.
But Dr. Zikalala,
yes,
the president knows what happened at his farm. Surely the president must know a little bit more than the ordinary South African. Your view right now, what you are saying, is exactly what former President Mbeki complains about, that the ANC appears to be burying its head in the sand on a matter that has such massive implications for someone who runs the country. He says it's unbelievable that ANC structures are not even discussing the Phala Phala matter, because what happens, Dr. Zikalala, here's the question now. What happens if and when the president, we are told, there's a prima facie case on Phala Phala? Doesn't he have to step aside from party level? Does he not have to step aside as president of the nation?
No, he has to. Immediately, if there's a prima facie case, he has to. There's no doubt about that. And he has committed himself that he'll do that. And so he was saying that let's not jump the gun. Let's allow the law enforcement agencies to do their work. Let's not let not stand in their way.
So why aren't ANC structures discussing this then?
But what do we discuss? What do we have? All that we have are snippets that Arthur Fraser said that. The snippets that people are rejecting what Arthur Fraser is saying. But now, where is the truth? We don't know exactly. And so what are we discussing?
So what you are discussing, Dr. Zikalala, is who is going to lead the country in the interim? Or is it a foregone conclusion that we have a deputy president and he's going to take charge? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the deputy president will take charge for the interim, but the NEC of the ANC will have to decide who takes over. There's no crisis in as far as we are concerned. Immediately, if it's requested that he should step down, the constitution of the ANC is very clear, and parliament processes are very clear who will be able to take over. And so for us, there should be no panic at all. There should be no panic at all. All that we are saying, and I think fair to him and fair to the ANC, what can we investigate and what can we do, because we're not there. Some people are saying that Arthur Fraser, what is put on the table is not true. And so that is why the law enforcement agencies must go deeper and find out what is it true what Arthur Fraser said he found. Some are saying that Pejani, who's his advisor, is involved in all that. We don't even know who Pejani is, Chauke is. Now, we can't entangle ourselves in those issues. That is why the law enforcement agencies are there, and they must just do their work.
Dr. Zikalala.
Do their work.
Dr. Zikalala, I find that quite astounding, that you do not know the president's political advisor at the presidency. He sits at the presidency, at government level. This is the president's special advisor. You don't know him. You don't know anything about him.
No, at the NEC, at the National Executive Committee, we don't deal with people who are employed in his office. That's not our job. Those are people employed by him, not by the NEC. The NEC does not employ his staff. That's part of his staff. And so we don't get involved in administrative issues. We are dealing with political issues with him. We don't ask him how many people are involved in your office. It's none of our business. Our business to make sure that he carries out the objectives and the mandate of the African National Congress. That's our responsibility towards him.
Let me ask you this question then. So at state level, it does appear that processes are clear there as to who will step in should the president have to step aside from his role. At party level, does it sit comfortably with you when it is perhaps assumed that by him stepping aside from his role as president, that automatically as well disqualifies him from being a contender in the upcoming conference in December?
Of course, it will definitely disqualify him to be a contender in December, because he has a case to answer. It will definitely disqualify him because he's facing criminal charges. And then at the same time, he has to be taken to a disciplinary committee of the ANC. They have to discipline him. And so he cannot be the contender. If that is the case, if he's criminally charged, he cannot. It's the same thing with the case of Comrade Ismakashule. He's been suspended and he cannot partake in any activities of the organization. It makes it very clear he cannot take part in the structures of the organization. Once you are criminally charged, you cannot. It's there. The constitution of the ANC is very clear on people who are criminally charged.
And these rules, especially the step-aside rule, which is exactly what Ace Magashule has had to contend with, are you of the firm view that these rules must stay exactly as they are and there's absolutely no problem with them? If the president is affected, well, he must also lie on the bed that he, in part, was party to informing these rules.
Well, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. We're saying that we have done it with certain comrades. Comrade Esma Hochula is there. He's facing criminal charges, and he cannot partake in ANC activities at all. Comrade Msebenzi Zwane is facing criminal charges. He cannot participate in activities as well. Why should there be an exception to the president?
Yeah.
Why should there be an exception to any individual? And how are we going to run this country if some people are above the law? There's no one in South Africa who is above the law.
Okay. That's a perfect. It's a fair point. Absolutely important. But here is another one at party level. If indeed the rules are the same for all, has the president been before the Integrity Commission of the party?
Yes, the president has been before the Integrity Commission. And the Integrity Commission, they are going to give their report over this weekend, where NEC is meeting from the 11th to the 13th, and that report will be placed on the agenda of the ANC. They'll be able to tell us exactly what the president said to them, because every NEC meeting, the Integrity Commission reports are being delivered to us.
Are you at all clear as to when exactly he met the Integrity Commission?
No, I'm not privy to that. But the documents, we have not received any documents as such of the NEC. We'll only know after when we meet, because from Friday, from 11th to the 13th, the NEC will be meeting. And so it's on the agenda. All integrity commissions are on the NEC agenda.
Dr. Snuki Zikalala, let me thank you very much for your time. Convener of the ANC Veterans League. Well, there you have it. The Integrity Commission report will be tabled at the next NEC meeting, and that's the NEC meeting that is upon the party soon. Very interesting indeed.